Hello and welcome. I'm Charles Aite. This hour, the world is on edge as the Russia-Ukraine crisis intensifies. Oil prices continue to soar past the $100 per barrel mark. And for consumers in Ghana, this will mean high fuel prices, a tanking city performance, and an overall hike in inflation. Already, transport fares are expected to increase by 30% this weekend. And for market watchers, this is just the beginning of hikes. Take a listen to the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, responding to the hike in inflation and the fall in the city. He blames geopolitical events like what you're seeing on your screens to this particular situation.
On 21st December 2021, inaugurated the National Energy Transition Committee to prepare a plan that will guide Ghana's process. As part of its activities, the committee is conducting nationwide stakeholder consultations to solicit inputs from Ghanaians. This forum is the first of such engagements, which will continue to 6 other regional belts in the country. I urge you to provide meaningful contributions that will serve as inputs for the preparation of the plan. In a bid to transition smoothly, Ghana must seek to increase its natural gas-based electricity generation. We shall also harness the use of our gas resources by expanding gas pipelines to key demand centers across the country and increase access to LPG for cooking in households. We all have to be aware that this transition is going to take place over the next 30 years. But the cost of that transition, even though it's going to be over the next 30 years, the costs are being felt today. There's less and less funding available for oil exploration and exploitation. And you are seeing this in an increase in oil prices globally today, as this transition is being talked about and is taking place. But we, in many of the developing countries, are facing these very high costs of petroleum prices, and that is resulting in many economic impacts, such as inflation in many countries, as prices of goods increase in response to the increase in petroleum prices.
Well, let's now bring in petroleum expert Dr. Suleimana Kone to help us appreciate situations as they unfold. We're grateful that you could join us with your perspective, Doctor. First of all, help us appreciate what exactly is happening on the global scale. Ukraine, Russia crisis, what are you learning as an expert regarding oil prices?
Yeah, thank you very much, Charles. Good afternoon to you and good afternoon to our charity viewers in Ghana and across the globe. Yeah, indeed, the oil market is getting very hot, or if I may say hotter, especially the downstream. So whilst the upstream is like is booming in a way, the downstream is getting hotter. So what are all dynamics within the downstream have direct impact on the upstream. So what are the factors that are causing this? Yeah, there are a couple of factors. We have factors we call the bullish. The bullish factors in the oil market are those that keep oil prices high, and then the opposite is the bearish. Those factors that will potentially dip oil prices. So if you weigh the aggregate of the two, factors, the bullish, and then the bearish ones, I think the bullish ones seems to be very potent at this moment. And what are they? Quickly, I noticed the Vice President mentioned energy transition. Yes, energy transition has both features, bullish and bearish. The bullish aspect of it is what we are having now. Investment, as we speak, in the world of hydrocarbon has dwindled. And so even taking out the Ukraine crisis, I think we have a lot of investment that is supposed to go into the world of hydrocarbon to be able to make up the demand, to be able to make up supply, to match up this rapid or buoyant demand that we have at the moment. Yeah, the second aspect of bullish, another momentum is the vaccine rollout. We have vaccine rollout that are proven to be efficacious. Travel community has resumed a lot of vibrancy in traveling, So all this is putting a lot of pressure on demand. And so,
yeah, but if we could focus our lenses once again on the impact in what's happening in Ukraine, because we have seen some sanctions from the European Union, the EU bloc, together with NATO, sanctions from Germany as well to affect specific gas pipelines, which subsequently is expected to have a trickle-down effect on gas prices, not just around the world, but here in Ghana as well.
Yeah, that's correct, and you are spot on. In fact, if you look at those sentiments that I talk about, at the moment, the Ukraine-Russia crisis happen to be the wild card as we speak now. And I must say that we're going to have a hotter moment before the market can get cool, because there's no sign of cool heads prevailing. And as long as this pandemonium between Russia and Ukraine, the border dispute continues, we're going to have these oil prices trying to take the bullish trajectory. And if you look at the Nord Stream project, I think it's been suspended. But even away from that, let's look at Russia. Russia is a force to reckon with, Charles. As long as Saudi Arabia remains the OPEC leader, Russia is also the de facto OPEC plus leader. They produce about 10% of global oil supply as we speak, 10 million plus. So any impact on Russia that will potentially cause them not to churn out oil into the global basket, it will only keep the situation worse. As for the cutting of the Nord Stream project, I think it's two ways. The Europeans have a lot to lose in this space as compared to the Russians. Yes, Russians, money-wise, they could lose, but energy security in Europe at the moment, a lot of it depends on Russian gas. And if at the moment we have this Nord Stream project terminated and a lot of sanctions put in place, it will only get the market in a worse situation. And I think we are just beginning to see the starting of that. My only hope is that we can have cool heads prevailing. Other than that, I think we're going to see a hotter moment before we can get before the market can get a bit chilled out.
Great, but analyze for us the trickle-down effect on Ghana. Already we are seeing transport fares shoot up by 30% this week. Help us appreciate the gravity of this on fuel prices at the pumps in Ghana.
Yes, the gravity is enormous, and nobody can underestimate that. With oil prices above 90s, if we take this and put it into our price build-up, I think the consumer is going to pay more. And the market, I think, is going to get hotter before it can get cold, like I mentioned. And so, yes, if you look at whatever within the price build-up, three things are there categorically. We have the exchange rate, the prevailing oil price in the global market, and then the taxes. These are the only things that cumulatively give our price build-up. So with one of them, which is the oil price in the global market, taking such a bullish trajectory, the market will only get worse. And I think we consumers have to please themselves. And so with the transport fares going up, it is just natural, Charles. If what we pay at the pump goes high and continue to go very high, it will have trickle effect on even inflation. And I must put on record that this is a global phenomenon, but the impact on local economies the impact on local economy will equally be die, depending on the structural arrangement of that particular local economy. And I think this impact will depend, the gravity of the impact will depend on the kind of policies that a particular country put in place.
Great.
Some will be impacted more than others, and I think we are going to be impacted more, yeah.
And speaking of policies, it begs the question, what should be the contingency plan of government amid these price uncertainties?
Yeah, straightforward, the three things I talked about. Taxes remains one of the credible, variable in this place. But of course, you can see what's going on within our, our fiscal regime. We are tied up, and I don't know what's going to happen. They could try to look at the taxes, but taxes are only short while. I don't recommend taxes will only cool down the market temporarily. But we'll come back to this. What do we expect? Just we operate what we call an upstream and downstream. You don't operate these two streams as segregated entities. You have to operate them and link them up seamlessly. All economies that are surviving and that are becoming triumphant in this trajectory are those who are able to link up the upstream and then the downstream. We haven't seen that. The benefits from the upstream should be able to cascade into the downstream. That's what we need to do.
Dr. Suleiman Yusuf, we're grateful for your analysis on this development regarding the impact of the Ukraine-Russia crisis on world prices and petroleum prices here in Ghana. We shall be keeping an eye on this to give you updates as and when. But away from that, the World Bank Group has commended Ghana for considerable strides in economic and social progress in the past 30 years, saying it achieved middle income status in 2011 because of strong, sustained economic growth, averaging over 5% since the early 1990s. This is coming after a recently discussed a new 5-year country partnership framework for Ghana. As a result, the World Bank Group will commit $4.5 billion to support Ghana's economy over a 5-year period. The SPF was prepared jointly by the World Bank, the International Finance Corporation, and the Multilateral Investment Guarantee Agency. It is aligned with Ghana's coordinated program of economic and social development policies and will support the government in creating a competitive environment for the private sector to flourish. Well, we're joined via Zoom by Chief Finance Officer at the Valley View University, Dr. William Seprab, on this development. Doc, grateful that you could join us. This is good news, is it not?
Yes, good afternoon. This is a very good news coming at this time. At the country, we need money. And this money is coming in at a very important time for us. In fact, the partners who put up this together noted that the impact of COVID-19 pandemic on Ghana has been very dire, and which we have been discussing this in a very long time. And as a country, we need this money. And if you look at the focus of where these funds will be invested, the most important thing to me, the two of them, is quality job creation. And then also the second one to me is the issue of making sure that private sector gets some funds to be able to operate. Though the fund talked about other areas that they were going to invest. So this is coming at the right time for us as a country, and it's going to solve a lot of issues. If you look at the amount of money mentioned, the 4.5 billion, and look at the revenues government wants to generate for e-levy, which is about $1 million. This one is coming in to cushion us as a country. So it is very, very important that our partners have assessed our situation and have come together to join Ghana to be able to address the economic challenges in the country.
But Dr. Pepra, you take a look at the World Bank report, you look at the progress that Ghana has made, and you juxtapose that against the impact on the real sector and livelihood of people. Is there really a link here?
I mean, Ghana is there's a kind of disconnect in the real impact assessment. Evenly, we can't say that we have achieved that 5% across all regions. And we know the upper west, upper east mostly are more of deprived, especially the northern part. But if you come to the southern part, you will see the impact of this 5%. So on the whole, as a country, World Bank assesses us on a 5% average development. But if we drill down to the individual regions, and we will see that there is that kind of disparity.
What do you also make? All right. What do you also make of the $4.5 billion country partnership framework program from the World Bank?
Yeah, it has come at a very good time. COVID impact in our situation, as we have felt, a lot of people lost their jobs. And this fund, majority of them will be going into private sector to create employment opportunities, to create quality jobs. When you talk about quality jobs, people having sustainable jobs, not the one that are linked with construction and the rest, which is just for 6 months or 1 year. But this is long-term jobs. This 4.5 billion is coming in at a very good time. If government is able to draw down even $1 billion in 2022, it will do a lot of work for government. So I think that the minister must draw to his partners and be able to get in this funding to help cushion the economy.
All right, Dr. Pepra, we're grateful for your analysis. But before you leave, of course, we're having this discussion, amid tensions globally. We're looking at the Ukraine-Russia, tensions there, which of course is having some impact on global oil prices as well as inflationary rates world over. Help us situate the situation, the current matter in Ghana proper, looking at the impact on inflation, the cost of living, and the overall growth of our country.
Russia is known for oil production. So if they decide to slow down in terms of energy production, let me put it in the bigger perspective, we are going to see a high rocket pricing in our energy sector, which will trickle down to us in Ghana to increase our fuel prices. We are doing the deregulation. So government will not have the right to intervene unless government decides to remove the taxes. So this is going to affect us. In terms of also commerce and movement, where Russia is positioned, sometimes our vessels pass through some of their water bodies, and if they are disturbed, it's going to affect us getting some goods to come in as a country. We may also see freight prices going up because vessels will have to divert their routes to come in. And also it's going to affect our military plan because we know that Ghana sometimes buy a lot of military equipment from Russia. We use some of their airlines and getting maintenance. Their focus will be on the war. So this is going to affect us. If China decides to back Russia, then our situation will be worse because there will be a shortage because they will come together to form a strong partnership to fight what the West is bringing onto them of these sanctions. So it's not going to be a good news. Businesses are going to be affected. American economy will be shifting their attention from growing their economy, but to go into war, and which is going to affect the entire economy. And Ghana, we will not be left out. So this situation is not good news at this moment, and because Russia is a big player in the world, and if there's any issue of conflict, the whole economy, the global economy, we are going to suffer. We also see currencies also having an issue. Already we have inflation in US, Ghana, and Europe, and the rest. So some European countries rely on Russia for business. So if Russia also decides to shut down their economy to some European countries, then the whole system, global system of finance, you are going to see some major impact. Also, people also take the advantage in terms of illicit money transfer to use this to do a lot of illegal transactions. When normally wars comes, that is what those who focus on illegal money transfers like. And this is also good impact. Ghana, just recently that we were taken out of this flow of illegal flow of funds.
Exactly.
So probably not take care, we will also suffer from that effect. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Pepra. He's an economist and, of course, the Chief Finance Officer with the Valley View University, helping us with his own understanding of global issues and its impact here in Ghana. Away from geopolitics now to the Ghana Textiles Limited, probably called GTP, because this morning workers there demonstrated over the poor working conditions and leadership style of their managing director, Fatoumata Duru. Now, they therefore want her to vacate her position or be sacked by the board. Wearing red armbands, the workers allege that their MD is not working in their interest and has done nothing to improve their working conditions since joining the company about 6 months ago. The General Secretary of the Junior Staff of the Textiles Ghana Limited, John Akon, told Joy Business the actions of Fatoumata Duru, including tampering with collective bargaining agreement of the workers, is counterproductive and must be dismissed.
Our ultimate goal for doing what we are doing today is because we want the new managing director who has been employed in the person of Fatoumata Duru should be exited from this factory. We are expecting the owners of the company to sack her from here because she's mismanaging our funds. Some years ago, workers of this industry both printers and ATL, decided to embark on a demonstration which is nationwide, just because we wanted to express our displeasure to government for allowing imported textiles to come and collapse this company. We succeeded, and by the grace of God, the government heard our plea and granted us a zero-rate VAT, which we are enjoying. Government is expecting that this zero-rate VAT is supposed to boost the industry. That is why they have given us that zero-rate VAT. But since Fatuma Tudoro came, she has decided to enrich one herself and her family, which we think is abnormal.
That was John Akon, the General Secretary of the General Staff of Textiles Ghana Limited, popularly called GTP. We're making frantic efforts to get management of the company to respond to this allegation, and we will bring you more in our subsequent bulletins. But you're still watching The Marketplace. We're going for a short break. We're right back with more stories. Do stay with us. Now, the Chamber of Commerce and Industry has bemoaned the impact of the pandemic on the capital of SMEs, despite a World Bank research indicating that 82% of SMEs have had their sales increased by about 22% after the third wave of the pandemic. The Accra Regional Manager of the Chamber, Daniel Togbo, stated that practical measures must be taken for the sustainable growth of SMEs post-pandemic. He's been speaking to Joy Business at the site of a budgeting workshop for entrepreneurs.
We had engagements with our members and we realized that there was one thing running out. So a lot of businesses were unable to account for the where some of the finances went. And this is basically as a result of the budgeting being thrown out of proportion, one due to the effect of COVID, and then also due to the management of the scarce resources they have. So as a chamber, we partnered with KPMG to help our members effectively manage their budgets. So by this, we are teaching them how to work on their budgets, prepare an effective budget, manage that budget, and then be able to manage the already scarce resources that they have so that they'll be able to maximize their productivity. So that's basically the reason for organizing this workshop. So we brought together entrepreneurs and members of the chamber, and we thought together to educate them on preparing a budget for the year and how to effectively manage and implement that budget. So far, the feedback has been good. The presentations have been very well. The resource persons have made the workshop very interactive. So we're using real-life case studies. So we're using their businesses as case studies, and we are preparing the budget from scratch. So people who have not prepared the budget before are being able to prepare their own budgets, and those that are budgets that were thrown out of proportion because of COVID and other force measures, they are putting in place the needed shock absorbers, the needed contingency plans, and how so that they'll be able to effectively manage their budgets going forward.
Meanwhile, a senior manager in charge of accounting advisory services at KPMG, Randolph Ano, has called for SMEs to prioritize budgeting tools to stay afloat amid the scourge of the pandemic.
And budgeting is key to the planning process for every business, and also with the chamber and KPMG, especially with the chamber's intention of building the capacity of its members from the beginning of the year to equip them to effectively plan to deliver on their expected objective. This is what has led us, or we as KPMG, to come in to also work with the chamber to train various businesses here on how to effectively plan or how to effectively budget. And our expectation is that whatever learnings we are giving them here, they will apply it in their business, and the expectation of the chamber will also be met. So we are hoping that a year from now, when we do meet the participants again, they will share some of the learnings as in implementing their businesses, implementing the budget techniques that they've learned here, and the sort of improvement that has brought to their business.
And for more news, please log on to myjoyonline.com. That'll be it for The Marketplace. My name is Charles Aite. Many thanks for watching.